At Healthcare Partners Medical Group, our mission is to provide the highest quality of healthcare to each and every patient. With 5 locations in Pahrump, we are local doctors you know and trust. We want to thank you for choosing us. Quality care starts here.
Welcome back. In continuing our week dedicated to Alzheimer's disease, we caught up with Healthcare Partners physician Dr. Stephen Andracki.
In continuing with our series on Alzheimer's disease, we're going to speak to Healthcare Partners Dr. Stephen Andracki.
Alzheimer's is a disease that happens to about 1 out of 8 people.
Is this more common nowadays than it used to be?
Probably not. We don't really know the statistics because it wasn't really given its name till earlier in the last century. So it's been diagnosed for a little over 100 years. So we don't know how it was years ago.
What exactly is the physical diagnosis of Alzheimer's?
Okay, Alzheimer's is a disease of dementia. There's other diseases in dementia. Dementia is the decline of processing, cognition. You might hear me say cognition, and if you want to know what that is, it's the mental processing, learning, speaking, processing, mathematics. So, or taking care of yourself. I mean, preparing food, calendar dates, which is very important in some of us, being on time, finding our way around the streets. Decline of this type of functioning is considered dementia. Alzheimer's is a specific type of dementia, and it's we know what it is. It's the increase of certain type of chemicals, molecules in the brain cells, as well as tangling of the brain cells. And it's we don't know what causes it. We don't know why certain people get it, but it is a big problem for some because of the decrease of mental functioning.
Is there different accelerations of how it affects different people? Some slower, some faster?
There is, but by our analysis, most people have a gradual progressive decline. But usually that only lasts about 10 years because the life expectancy of somebody diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease is limited, maybe 8 or 10 years. But there are some faster paced ones, and those typically occur with people who are younger.
In early onset Alzheimer's, most Alzheimer's patients usually over 65 are diagnosed, but there could be younger.
That's correct, and those are by far the exception. Most people are still over 65 when the diagnosis is made.
It's a devastating disease, especially for the patient and the family members. What's some of the early symptoms that family members should be looking for, and is early diagnosis important?
Well, devastating for the family, I'd say. For the patient typically is not aware of what's happening to them. As a matter of fact, most people don't come in saying that they have Alzheimer's disease. The family notices it way before the patient does. They think that things are generally pretty good. Now, that's not always, but usually it's the family who comes in saying that mom or dad is not doing well, they're forgetting things, they leave the stove on, it gets lost when they're driving, and the family is usually making these observations. And it can start earlier with difficulty with balancing the checkbook or just missing appointments. So we have mild, moderate, and severe Alzheimer's disease, and it's always progressive. It goes from one stage to the other.
This is Deanne O'Donnell for News 46. And we conclude our interview with Dr. Andracki regarding Alzheimer's.
Some dementia is caused by chemical problems such as thyroid. So if someone is starting to get lost or to forget dates, best thing to do is to come in, because some of those, we hope a lot of them, but usually it's not a high percent, is caused by a low thyroid, and that can be completely reversed and completely corrected. Now, Alzheimer's disease is a diagnosis made by the symptoms. We don't have a good way to diagnose unless we take a brain biopsy, which we don't do. So after we exclude that there's no other source, we determine it to be Alzheimer's disease, but we're really never sure that it's Alzheimer's disease.
What are we seeing now as far as treatment for Alzheimer's?
Well, we do have treatments. There's approximately 4 medications approved by the FDA for treatment of Alzheimer's. Some are for mild to moderate, and some are for moderate to severe. So we do have medications, but the important thing to remember about medication treatment for Alzheimer's disease, it does not stop Alzheimer's. It arrests the progression for a period of time, and generally you delay it for about 6 months, and it's always going to progress. We cannot stop Alzheimer's disease. We have no good treatments, but we can continue to expect a little bit of a decrease in the decline of functioning. That means that if you're already forgetting how to balance your checkbook, you're not going to gain that back. But you may be able to continue activities of daily living, functioning, getting around the house, taking care of yourself for a longer time because it's been delayed, but it still progresses. That's the important thing. We can't stop Alzheimer's disease.
Do you see anything medically in the future that they might be working on?
They've just introduced a vaccine to help with the progression of the deposition. We're not sure how this is going to work. Alzheimer's disease has been studied many years for many patients. Everybody wants to know how to prevent this. Ronald Reagan had Alzheimer's disease, and money has been pouring in. Lou Robo Brain Center in Las Vegas has huge donations, but we're looking for these treatments, but we don't have treatments right now. The future, we hope that we can start to do this, but it's going to be on a molecular level. We have to get down into the cells, into where the genes, into where this the actual problem of amyloid is made and stop that progression. So we do always hope in the future that we'll have better treatments, but at this point, that's all we have is the very basic medicine treatment.
Speaking of genes, is it hereditary?
Yes and no. The early onset tends to be more genetically related, but Alzheimer's disease does not mean that it's going to be passed on necessarily from generation to generation. So it has to be made entirely clear. Just because mom had it, that you're not necessarily going to get it, there's no reason to live in fear of that. The thing that you also may want to know is that Alzheimer's disease may be delayed by continuing to be mentally active and being physically active. And so if you want to prevent Alzheimer's disease, and the only thing we know is to be physically fit, be mentally fit, and doing things like the word search and the number games and anything like that probably is as good as anything we know right now to prevent Alzheimer's disease.
The Pahrump Town Board presented 2 individuals with Citizen of the Year awards and 2 groups with Organization of the Year awards. Town Board Chairperson Vicki Parker presents the first award to Willie Bear from CASA.
Presented to Willie Bear.
And thank you, everyone. I'm verklempt. I don't know what to say, but I can tell you that CASA is the most wonderful organization that I've ever been involved with, and my board members and CASAs that are here tonight and staff to support me. I love you all. Thank you.
We also have a co-award. We had 2 great people and we couldn't choose between them. So this year we have 2 awards, and the Citizen of the Year award is also for Andre Butch Harper. You're generous and kind.
Well,
Samantha.
you know, it is a very humbling. When I travel this country to children's hospitals, it's twice as humbling as this. But I can't do what I do without the help of people in this room and many others. They're the ones that deserve something like this. I don't. Thank you.
2012 Organization of the Year is awarded to No to Abuse. Your generous and kind contributions have made a wonderful. Who gets it?
Ron
gets it.
We all get it. I want to thank you on behalf of No to Abuse. It takes a whole organization to, fulfill what we do, and we've got a great team out there. We've had a great board, and part of the board is here. Bill Koberger is on our board. We're honored to have him, and it took the whole board and the whole organization to win this, so have this honor. So thank you very much.
Thank you on behalf. We also have a co-organization, also awarded Organization of the Year, and this is 9 Communities Coalition.
This is a big surprise for all of us. We didn't know this was going to occur. But on behalf of 9 Communities Coalition, we thank you, and the community thanks you too. So we contribute a lot to the community. We know that, but we also know that it wouldn't be possible without everybody that's involved. Definitely. So thank you so much.
Congratulations to Willie Bear of CASA, No to Abuse, Nye Communities Coalition, and Andre Butch Harper for all his work locally and throughout the United States, helping the children, the needy, and the sick.
We definitely have some amazing people in this town, charities and organizations. It's great that the Pahrump Town Board recognized them.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely. And when we come back from this break, we'll have some more local news, including the Children's Safety Day, which will be coming up after the first of the year. Don't go anywhere.